Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bigger dip. Bitcoin down approximately 2.5%, give or take. Ethereum down approximately 5% below that $3,000 mark. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are taking bigger beatings. Of course, we see XRP, Cardano, Litecoin, Doge, and many others coming down to critical levels. In fact, some of them are actually breaking below those critical levels of support. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to focus on Ethereum. I want to focus on Ethereum as the heavyweight of the altcoins. Does Ethereum have the strength to bring them down even further? So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. The overall market cap is coming down. We see coming down to about $2.1 trillion, which obviously is down 4%, which is a big deal here, guys. We're seeing the overall flow of capital exit the crypto space, and it also includes stable coins, which is quite interesting here, because if we're getting out of stables, where are we going, right? Back into fiat, a bit of fear that definitely could cause it. Now, what's also concerning to me is the trading volume. As you see, the market cap is falling. We see market participation happen because there's volume, there's move, there's individuals in the space that are actually selling off and agree with the sell-off. That's concerning. So when we see that happening, guys, we're seeing fear, the maximum fear. Let's continue down. We see Bitcoin coming down, Ethereum coming down, and the overall market is coming down. We see a bit of volatility in USDT, but nothing to be concerned with. We do see Tron looking pretty good, in the sense that we know that Tron is highly pegged to USDT, in the sense that a lot of people use the Tron network to transfer around stables. So this is a concerning thing to me, because honestly, not so much concerning, but it's an interesting thing, because really we should be seeing a lot of the stables being floating around right now. So what I'm curious about is, how does the USDT dominance look like right now? So tonight at 7:30 Eastern, we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at USDT dominance. We'll take a look at any other requests that you may have, any projects you want me to take a look at. I'll definitely put them in top priority. But we can see that there's something interesting happening as the market is falling. We have Tron showing up, pretty strong here. And of course, I think it's because of the USDT concept. And as we keep on going down, guys, we have a lot of these larger blue chip altcoins coming down, 5%, 3%, 8%. And as you can see, that's the overall consensus. Near Protocol, 9%, Litecoin, 12%. And as we keep on going down, we have Caspa only down 3%. Sign of strength, perhaps. Caspa has been selling off based on the FUD in the last little while, but nonetheless, here we are with Caspa somewhat outperforming some of the other larger altcoins. If that's quite interesting. Sign of strength for Caspa. We have Internet Computers, ICP coming down, and many others. Guys, we can scroll through this all day long and see all of these coming down. But what I do notice in the short term is a bit of a relief to the upside, just a tad bit of relief. Now, is that a dead cat bounce? Is that a scenario where maybe we go up a little bit and then the bears come back in and bring it down and break lows again? And the only way to avoid getting trapped up in those dead cat bounces, because those are traps, essentially, that would be a bull trap. In order to avoid it, the only way to avoid it is to wait for structure. Don't only wait for one touch, wait for a couple touches. Let's see what kind of pattern we produce. Let's see what kind of shift we produce. And if you see continuations, guys, continuations it is. Bearish momentum to the downside, that's the way it is. But I can tell you one thing, all the charts across the market right now are severely oversold. And this is usually where we get the best opportunities to take risk. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Risk is important. And when you take it is also important. In oversold conditions with some signs of bullish divergence are absolutely healthy. BitTensor Tau down approximately 3%, but has been down approximately 22 in the last little while. Optimism coming down heavier than expected. Look at this, 13% for OP. As it comes down and it keeps on going down, we have Bonk looking okay. What's going on with the meme coins, guys? Ultimately, the meme coins generally do well during days like this because the market is boring, people are not interested, and then we have Quant is up 1%. I'm glad to see it show up one day, but it's still at $72. Very, very bearish ultimately for me. I wouldn't be touching it, absolutely not. We have EGLD showing a lot of strength today. Again, 9.5% to the upside when EGLD basically wasn't doing nothing for so long. All of a sudden is going against the grain, showing up to the party with some strength, which is great. It's great. Now, Core coming down and many opportunities there if you weren't able to buy Core at the beginning where everybody else, when it came in hot. And now, guys, might be the opportunity because it's down 32% in 7 days. Those are absolute great opportunities. We have Fast Token all of a sudden showing up, doing pretty good here, holding up nicely in a potential bull flag or a potential continuation to the upside. I fear those type of scenarios because as the market is coming down, Fast Token is actually going up, and it could be short-lived. Unfortunately, it could be short-lived, or as soon as we start to see this pivot in the market, Fast Token could keep on running really strong because ultimately it's showing bullishness now during negativity. Imagine when the market is bullish, when everything else should be bullish, it might continue to the upside. So pretty good here for some of these projects, very few of them. However, the general market, guys, is coming down. All right, guys, let's jump into some charts. I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's take a look at what's happening here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the end of the day is not looking the greatest, and we got to be clear about why. Ultimately, it's because it fell through the volume gap and it continues falling through the volume gap, and it got a little bit of a wick close enough to the bottom of the volume gap. I feel like the bottom of the volume gap, the best place to consider the bottom is at about 50 to 500, more or less, right into this level right here. You see this node of volume here on the volume profile. This is where we could expect to get solid support. Now, we could get a V recovery, right? We fell below the 200 daily. Guys, it's likely that we want a bit of confidence. We want a bit of structure. We could even build a bit of structure, bounce back up, get rejected on that 200 daily, and then come back down and continue building structure. So now it's an opportunity to understand that the bears are in full force. The bears are looking at this in a very bearish way because we made not only a lower low, a very slight one, slightly lower high, but we came down for a lower low, a major one, right? A major lower low. We broke structure. We basically broke structure to the downside in the sense that now we're making lower lows and lower highs. So there's a new trend in town, and that's unfortunate. Now, what about if the bears, right? We got to get into a bearish mentality here. Eventually wait for this reversal. We come back up, get rejected right around here, and then come right back down, and then maybe continue to the downside. And unfortunately, that would take us to about 44K. Guys, I'm not going to be getting there right now. We got to take it day by day because I would love to see some sort of support right into this area. But things are getting critical, right? There's no way that I'm going to be bullish at this current moment. I might get bullish once we form a structure again, where I can put that stop loss in and then maybe continue to the upside and take a bit of profits upon the relief and worry about a rejection at previous levels of previous support and using that support zone as now a rejection level, right? Using support as resistance is not a good look in a downtrend, right? Because we start to look at this as a complete retracement to the downside, right? One impulsive move, a nice retracement, another impulsive move, we could definitely come down to about 44K. Guys, and I anticipate institutions getting into that level. I anticipate a lot of buying pressure at that level and a full reset technically at that level for an anticipation for a nice rally to the upside for the bull run. So not bad, not bad. Ultimately, if it does come down to that level, we have to stick through the convictions. I can imagine a lot of people looking out the other way here in the crypto space and feeling very, very demotivated. But ultimately, this is where the magic happens. Okay, let's take a look at momentum here for a second. You can see that ultimately momentum came back down to oversold conditions. We were overbought, okay? We came here. This was not oversold. And I hope that you guys realize is that every time I say that there's risk, it's because really the opportunity to come down to an extreme level still exists, right? So here we didn't get oversold. And if you got bullish, the only thing that I would say at this level is, guys, it's still possible to come down for oversold conditions. We got a bit of relief, and got back to the top of the range, and now we're oversold. Okay, so this is the time now where we have to have a bit of conviction. Now, there is no bullish divergence right now at this current moment. We could get one based on this bottom and this bottom right here, but it's going to take a bit of time because as of now, it's not confirmed that this impulsive move to the downside is done. We can invalidate the current scenario because we do see, a bit of divergence, or even if it's class C bullish divergence, but we're not confirmed with this bottom. The bottom can come down a little bit lower and totally invalidate this double bottom, right? There's no double bottom confirmed at the current moment. So we got to be patient here. Don't try to catch that falling knife. And I feel like 52,500 would be that bottom level to expect some support from the market. And because of the volume gap, there's no volume at the current level. Now, if we do get support, I want structure. To be honest, I even want structure at 52,500. Then I'm interested. Look at the trend. EMA is facing down. Register bars. The expansion is likely to keep on coming down full force. There is a possibility of divergence right here on the histogram bars, but because the EMAs are facing down, I am embracing for another shot to the downside to bring the momentum and the trend oscillators to oversold conditions. And that's not something that I'm willing to take a risk on. So bit by bit here, guys, we're also getting a bit of volume coming in. All right, let's take a look at Ethereum. What's going on with ETH? Ultimately, ETH is in one of those critical states as well. In fact, I think that it's a lot more interesting. Look at what's happening here, guys. We're back to a very, very critical horizontal support zone. And I truly, truly understand if you want to get into a long position here on ETH, because it's just based on risk to reward. You can see we have bottoms, all of this right here at about $2,880. And ultimately, if we do get some support right into this level, we can come straight back up and get rejected right around this level. And, basically look for a lower high, another lower high. However, if we break below, guys, it's likely that we come down to about $2,500, $2,400, which is, the bottom of this volume gap, which is not a clean gap because we got a node of volume right here. But you got to admit, that's the next level, guys. That's the only level where I'm willing to take risk once again, because really below this, we have a lot of weakness, but we also have some price action that we need to deal with, right? This little node right here and the top of this wedge where we broke out previously. So that would be a decent little target, 2,300, 2,400. Let's just keep an eye on it if it does break. But the thesis based on a long position is definitely there. Let's take a look at the momentum in the trend, and then we'll talk about setups, because the setup here on Ethereum is definitely possible. We're oversold. Volatility is oversold. With the expansion is oversold. Everything is oversold. But just note that there's no bullish divergence here on the daily just yet. But the trend obviously is going to be overextended to the downside, but we're still in a divergent state. Divergence, it has not been invalidated here on the expansions. This dip right here is showing a lot more weakness than this one, even though the price came down. So that's class A bullish divergence, which is interesting. We did fall below the 200 daily, which is not the greatest. I do see that the EMAs are facing down and red histogram bars are present, which means that the invalidation of this bearish divergence, this bullish divergence, is still very possible. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. To invalidate, what we want to see is the expansion, this purple, right, come down, reverse to the downside and get down lower than this previous low. That will invalidate it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it could happen. So we got to prepare mentally and economically prepare our portfolios for that scenario. So let's get to the setup. Based on momentum, trend, is okay because of the divergence, but the EMA is not so much, but the momentum is okay. No sign of bullish divergence that would get me even better. So I'm about 70, 75%, confident that we could potentially get into a nice reversal structure right here and eventually get that bounce. And with that being said, it's about the conviction of not making a lower low. Okay, I don't want to make a lower low here. And if we do, we gotta get out. We gotta protect our initial investment. And this thesis is only based on a long right now at this current moment. We'll talk about a short possibility, but really it's about a breakout. If you're gonna short right now, it's a breakout scenario. If you're gonna long right now, it's about understanding that we got a bounce right off of support, previous support as a double bottom, a potential double bottom. Stop loss right into here. Let's include the wicks for a moment, and then we start looking at where we take profit. And I would say right around here is a great profit taking scenario. You're up 22% and your risk to reward ratio is 4.8 to 1 and your loss is only 4%. Now, you're probably saying, but Mike, I'm only going to make 22% here. Guys, just understand this is not a micro cap. We're used to trading microcaps where something like this would give us 100%, right? But that's a microcap. Low market cap projects have a lot of volatility. And the solution to this problem for traders is leverage. Now, I'm not promoting leverage, but if you are interested in creating an account and trying to get into leverage trading, I do have links in the description. Blowfin has no KYC. It is an up and coming exchange, so feel free to check that out. However, guys, I don't promote leverage, but if you want to, do, let's say, hypothetically speaking, 2x, just think about it. A 2x can bring this to a 44% profit instead of only 22, but also the 2x could make you now potentially get into a 9% dip or 9% loss instead of only just a 4.5. So there's benefits between thinking about volatility here as far as leverage goes. So if you want to increase the potential gains and losses, just use a bit of leverage. Imagine what 3x would do, right? It could potentially give you 100% gains, but the risk to reward ratio is key here, guys. So if we break below lower low, not a good look. It's likely that we come down to this level. I would say about $2,400. If we break to the upside, I wouldn't be taking too much risk, and especially with leverage and expecting a breakout for it to get into price discovery. I would be taking profit here and then just kind of reassess what happens here, only based on trading, right? Trading itself. Now, from a short position, to be honest, you're a breakout trader. If you're thinking about, getting into a short, what you really want is to break below this low. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, right? Because a lot of people are looking at this as a great risk to reward ratio opportunity for Ethereum. And given that Ethereum, might be looking for a reversal at this level, the way it has happened in the past, it's quite risky to get into that. But you know what? If we do get a structure like we've done in the past, if you think about it, look at the last fractal. It's very similar, guys. Very similar. We came down pretty hard. We're getting a bit of a bounce. What about if we do something like this? We get another bounce, chop around here for a little bit and get another bounce. And just keep this in mind. This is the daily. This takes time. This is about a month, if not longer, right into sideways price action here for ETH. So we could go sideways for the next little while and maybe even trade this little sideways price action on lower time frames. But ultimately, this is the scenario to watch out for, because if we do break down, right, we can break down, come up, back test the breakdown, and then come down for that lower low. This would be the time to get into a short position with mitigating your risk, because to put your stop loss right here, and that way, just in case, you can take a small loss and that would be done with. But if you get into the current moment into a short position, we don't know if we eventually do one of these, right, and then continue to the upside, similar to what happened here, and then that short position gets hurt significantly. So think about what's happening right now. A lot of people have been seeing this negativity in the last few days. People are on a short bias. The new retail traders that are coming in are looking for short positions very clearly. Well, I do feel like a bit of pain could be induced to those individuals in the immediate short term. So be careful there, guys. If I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.